This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.
There was barely enough room for a nose of that truck. Oh, sideways.
Sliding into the grass. That's Timothy Peters. It looked like some contact had to have been made there. And Timothy Peters slides into the infield grass. Caution once again.
Keeps it out of the wall, though. That was critical.
Doesn't look like too much damage, maybe a little bit to the left front.
Yeah, that damage there is not going to hurt anything as long as everything else is straight. You see the splitters in really, really good shape. He's going to be fine, but it looked like somebody got slowed up there, and of course, the further back you get, the worse it gets.
It's one of those chain reaction deals. Exactly.
We've heard that numerous times, and so this time it's Timothy Peters that is the one who has to get turned around. Take a closer look.
He slides up the racetrack right in front of Rick Crawford. Ooh, Terry Cook does a great job avoiding Timothy as he slides across the racetrack, but it was one of those deals. He came up the racetrack and Rick had already had a little bit of momentum.
And also, that part of the track, he come up so fast that he had a problem, and it looked like he had to
off of the racetrack. And it looked like, obviously, they're doing a good job now because it's riding about an inch off the racetrack.
Caution's on the racetrack.
Third caution of the day. Kim Lopez working hard today on the flag stand. And it's the 57 that has got turned around. Norm Benning slow on the access road. Yep. Stacy Compton winning the battle off of pit road. Halfway is being shown to the drivers. Problems on the front stretch. The smoke all across the front stretch, and that bottles up a couple different trucks.
James Busher, TJ Bell. Todd Cleaver was involved in the 8 truck. He's against the inside wall, as you can see. One of those chain reaction things we see so many times.
James Busher, his truck not rolling on the front stretch as we see the 8
look at Brian Eichler, also a tremendous amount of damage on that Raceway Toyota. Looks like it may have started with a Eichler maybe in the 15, may have gotten the back of Busher. It's hard to tell there. It was just they were all just seized up there.
It's so hard to tell there because it's like the 11's being pushed the whole way. Like it almost wasn't under power. I don't know. I'm sure that's not the case, but
Rick Crawford, but you won't hear him complain. He's having a very solid run in the top 5, and we have trouble on the racetrack. Stacy Compton around.
Sideways is Stacy Compton. Ricky Carmichael misses him. The caution flag flies. That was just a situation where he was on the outside line.
Well, Brian Scott helped him get to the outside line is what happened. Brian Scott got loose down on the inside of Stacy Compton, forced him up, got into him, forced him up out of the groove. That got Stacy sideways, and around he went. I tell you, Ricky Carmichael did a great job avoiding Stacy Compton.
He did. You know, this is one of those deals where you're going to run 3 wide into the corner. Brian Scott knows. I dove it in there just a little harder to make sure he clears. I mean, this is a huge run. Well, when you do this run, you're not coming in at a very good angle.
A bad angle, and he gets in there. He obviously chases it up the hill. There's a contact. He gets Stacy sideways. Stacy almost saves it. Watch Ricky Carmichael now. He's headed straight for his door.
Locks him up. The other thing that set that up is...
But man, he is taking his...
problems behind him. Into the wall goes the 4.
Terry Cook's going to hit the inside wall.
Inside wall. Those two pinched together. There was a truck in the middle of that.
Yeah, it wasn't Terry Cook and Ricky Carmichael that got together initially.
7th caution of the day. We see the damage to the right front of that number 4 of Ricky Carmichael.
Yeah.
Just as we had mentioned, he was staying in the game, and this takes place.
Yeah, and look at that Cajun Toyota there with Terry Cook. Terry was battling up for a top 10 most of the day, and a lot of damage to that truck.
Look. Again, it'll be just behind this pack.
That's Matt Crafton right there. Got in the corner a little bit hard, got sideways, did a nice job of staying off the 33 of Hornet any more than he did.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like he got underneath 33. 33 didn't give him as much room as Matt liked to have seen, and they just got into... Actually, Matt did a great job. He could have wrecked both of them.
And then Terry gets into the 4 of Ricky Carmichael.
It looked like it's one of those cases where the 25 did not know he might have been 3 wide there. The 29 still had his nose in there. He just moved there when he didn't. The 33 may have not.
Oh, there's contact. The 6 goes around. The 88 was on the outside. The 6 got into him, and the 6 goes around of Colin Brown.
Well, we see that all the time. The truck on the inside loses the air off that rear spoiler. Those guys were really battling hard. Colin makes some contact with the outside wall. You see the tires rubbing right there. It doesn't look like significant contact, but it is going to bring him to pit road, and he will lose all his track position.
Yeah,
he wiggled and had moved up. He tried to stay off of Matt Crafton. Matt does a nice job, and Colin just couldn't keep control of that truck.
How about Mike Skinner also being able to check up and not get into
There's another
the
view.
6.
You see the contact right there, then around goes Colin. Mike does a nice job avoiding that Conway Ford.
Final 8 laps of racing from Gateway International Raceway. How important are the restarts? One of the best is bringing him to the green flag. Ron Hornaday, 8 laps to go.
And he had at least 2 truck links when he got to the start-finish line. Oh, Todd gets turned.
Todd slides to the inside. Will he slide back up in the groove? Yes, and more contact. Rick Crawford is involved. Colin Brown is involved.
That was just a huge misfortune there. I mean, Todd looked like he saw the 33 come and tried to block him. And the 33 says, you know, I've had enough of that today. I'm sorry, the 88. And Matt just, you know what, he just said, I had enough.
Look at the damage to that Ventrilo Toyota.
And again, it looked like hit from the back. He slid, and if he wouldn't have slid back up in the racetrack, probably not much damage to that race truck, and he could have got back out there. But problems for that 30 team, Adam.
And Todd Bodine just came on the radio, and the quote was, I knew he was going to do it. I knew he was going to do it. It's bad. We're not finishing. And that shot says he is exactly right.
Tough break.
What a difficult day again for this team.
Not get a very good start. Crafton's going to dive to the inside. Todd moves over to try to take that spot, and they just make contact there. Todd was hoping Crafton would give him a little bit more room. He didn't do it. Then when he comes back up the racetrack, Colin Brown, Rick Crawford trying to get by on the outside. They knew he was coming. They were trying to get by before he got there.
It's all going to shake out now. 4 laps of racing to go. The fans are back up on their feet. The green flag will go in the air. We're back underway. 4 to go from Gateway.
Crafton's all over him. He's got a run, a little bit of a run. He moves to the inside. There's the contact.
Contact again. Crafton gets into the back of the 33, and Hornaday spins around. Oh, and big contact behind him. That's the 07 that gets into the 33. Jason Young driving that 07. What a difficult situation this has got to be for the 33 team. Ron Hornaday sitting in his truck. Rick Wren on top of the pit box. I'm sure worried about his driver right now. Look at the back end of that truck. Gone.
Back end is gone. He's going to have to definitely park that. And the thing is, oh, that ain't good. Those guys can be mad. He had a run on him, and obviously we're going to see a couple views of this. If a guy's got a run coming like that, you got to give him a little bit of room because this could happen.
It's almost a carbon copy of what we saw with Matt Crafton and Todd Bodine.
David Starr has scored 3 laps down. We will only have 3 laps to go.
Well, David Starr will complete lap 157. Let's take a look back at what happened. You see Ron is extremely upset. Matt Crafton got a good run. He moved to the inside. They got down to the corner. I tell you, that really looked a lot different on replay from what the other situation was with Todd and Matt Crafton.
It was. This was a different situation.
They were really all the way to the corner.
Here's a better view. I mean, Ron's trying to block him. There's no doubt. But the 88, he's not quite there. But he went as low as he could.
Yeah, Ron was almost down to the curbing on the inside of the racetrack. So it was a lot later. You see Jason Young come along with nowhere to go. And then Mikey Kyle makes contact with the 07. But really unfortunate. Here's another view.
We are hearing that NASCAR is going to post the 88. That means they're going to say more than likely rough driving. And what that will do is, well, more than likely take away a potential win from the 88.
Oh, it's going to take away the win. There's no question about that.
Potential. Now, obviously, he still has 3 laps that he has to race. Right. So we're not saying that he was going to win, but this will put him at the back of the lead lap car. We are hearing that NASCAR is going to post the 88. That means they're going to say more than likely rough driving. And what that will do is, well, more than likely take away a potential win from the 80.
I heard some people booing earlier, so I'm assuming that they were probably clapping on NASCAR's decision to put him at the back of the deal. So it's tough because the grandstands doesn't have the view that we have on TV.
Right. And the green-white checkered finish, and this will be it. They're all following Mike Skinner. Green flag back in the air. 2 to go from Gateway.
Look at Matt Crafton is passing trucks before he gets to the start-finish line.
We've seen it before. Johnny Sauter looked to the inside of Skinner. This time, the leader doesn't go around. Skinner trying to hold him off as they come out of 2.
I think the 13 had a good enough time to be there, and he thought, you know what, I just saw this happen. I'm not going to be part of this.
I've seen this movie.
Yes, and it looks like they're both doing a great job, and you know, right now I got to give the upper hand to the 5.
The 5 throwing it into turn 3 a little bit harder than that 13. Let's see if the momentum on the 13 can do anything as they come back for the white flag. A great battle behind those two for that 4th spot. Crafton trying to battle back as well as he tries to get the best finish he can on the outside of Stacy Compton. Out in front, though, the 5 of Mike Skinner now has 2 truck links between himself and Johnny Sauter. Can Skinner make it back-to-back wins in the 2009 season? As he comes out of turn number 4, Mike Skinner is going to win at Gateway International Raceway.
Look at 3 wide back there for position.
Skinner, Sauter, Brian Scott, Eric Almirola, and Taylor Malsum, your top 5 from Gateway. What an unbelievable finish we've had here. Matt Crafton coming back to a 6th place finish after restarting in the 12th position.
What a great job by Mike Skinner. Great pit work, strategy.
And oh, by the way, the significant other, the better half, as we heard about earlier today in the setup. Angie Skinner's making her way to the victory lane area. She will celebrate once again. She mentioned it being a soap opera. She thinks of each one of these races being a soap opera. Who's the villain today in the soap opera? Well, Matt Crafton has been deemed the villain today as he was black flagged before that final restart.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.